You're watching Aurora 8, proud to be serving Aurora, Colorado, and all-America city.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Aurora News Weekly, A Year in Review Part 2. I'm Jackie Polisi.
And I'm Emily Rushing. We began last week by revisiting stories ranging from transportation to education. This week we want to continue with a look at all the new development and redevelopment that's happening in Aurora.
Your city, your source for news. This is Aurora News Weekly.
Throughout the year, we here at Aurora 8 work hard to bring you the stories that matter most to you, stories that define the city you live, work, and play in.
This week, we continue to revisit some of the stories that made our news here in Aurora in 2012.
Aurora is one of the largest cities in the state, and with that comes a great deal of growth and redevelopment.
That's right, and speaking of, Havana Street in Aurora has seen a lot of changes this year, all for the better.
It's one of the most happening places in Aurora, and it just keeps on getting bigger and better. Two major new developments are now coming to the Havana Business Improvement District. The district runs about 4 miles along Havana Street, from East 6th Avenue on the north to Dartmouth Avenue on the south. The centerpiece is the Gardens on Havana Shopping Center at South Havana and East Mississippi, which replaced the former Buckingham Square Mall. The new developments, an apartment complex and a senior housing center, are going up near the gardens and will make the area even more inviting, according to the organization's executive director.
We are really excited about having these apartments and townhomes come to the Gardens on Havana. It just completes the whole mixed-use plan that we originally had on the books, and just getting extra people walking around and enjoying the amenities in the main street of the Gardens on Havana.
Both developments were recently approved by the Aurora Planning Commission. The apartment complex, which will include 217 units and 10 townhomes, is going up on about 9 acres just east of the shopping center. It's the first Denver area project for the developer, whose company is based in Los Angeles. The assisted living facility is going into an 8-story former office building at 1470 South Havana. It will feature 84 units, complete with kitchens and private balconies. The building, which has been empty for 9 years, used to be home to the City of Aurora's offices, until the Aurora Municipal Center was built in 2003. Residents of both developments will have a lot to look forward to.
Walking trails, bike trails, all up and down here. And of course, we have 85 restaurants, if you can believe that.
Those 85 restaurants are all within a 4-mile area. Folks at both the apartment complex and the assisted living center will also be able to take advantage of many activities, like the annual summer concerts in the nearby Rose Garden. And the Gardens on Havana also added several new stores this past year. With all these new developments, changes to the roads around Havana were inevitable.
Getting to and from your favorite shops and restaurants along Havana Street got a little easier and safer this year. That's because a project to install medians in the area is now complete. Construction on the medians got underway at the end of the summer. CDOT, the Colorado Department of Transportation, used federal highway safety funds to build the medians. The goal is to cut down on the number of T-bone type accidents on Havana while still allowing for easy access to businesses. The medians restrict some left-hand turns out of parking lots, but other types of turns, both into and out, are allowed, as well as U-turns at the end of the medians. For more information about what's happening on Havana Street, check out their website at onhavanastreet.com.
And just down the road in 2011, they tore down the old, and in 2012 they opened the new Home Sweet Home.
That's what folks are saying about a new apartment complex near Havana Street that's making their lives better in so many ways. The complex is called The Village at Westerly Creek. It's located at East Kentucky and South Jamaica. The building is owned and managed by the Aurora Housing Authority and is designed specifically for low-income seniors and the disabled. It replaces Buckingham Gardens, the original public housing complex, which was torn down. Residents are now in the process of moving in.
An air conditioner, a dishwasher, an elevator, they're all things most of us take for granted, but not folks at this new complex.
The Village at Westerly Creek is designed especially for low-income seniors and the disabled, and they couldn't be happier to be home. 34-year-old Phyllis Schroeder has worked hard all her life. She spends most of her time now sewing. But she also worked for 30 years at a bank until the bank closed and she lost her job and had to start living off her Social Security. It's a familiar story for a lot of seniors today, and that's why Aurora's new village at Westerly Creek was built just for them. The building is owned and managed by the Aurora Housing Authority, which received federal grant money to help build it.
I was very thrilled with the kitchen and the bathroom.
Not only are the kitchens and bathrooms nice, but all of the 55 units also have energy-efficient appliances and air conditioning, as well as a private balcony or patio. Safety is a key feature too, both for residents who already live in the apartments, as well as those getting ready to settle in.
They love it. They're so excited. They can't wait to move in. This is an environment that their family will know that they're in a building, they're safe, and they won't have to worry about them anymore.
And it's not just that the building itself is secure. It also comes complete with snow melt sidewalks so residents don't have to worry about slipping and falling come winter. And then there are those little extras like the community room, an exercise room, and even a salon all on site. And an elevator.
One of the things that's better is we had very narrow steps, and they were not very safe to walk up and down. They were narrow, and anytime you went out, you had, if you wanted to carry something out, you had to carry everything up and down stairs. So the elevator is nicer.
All of the residents at Westerly Creek used to live across the street at Buckingham Gardens, the original public housing complex. It didn't have elevators or air conditioning. It was torn down last year. Phyllis says she's grateful for her new place and the help she's getting from the city.
I lived in the state of Colorado all my life, and if I needed help, I felt like I deserved it.
The building's manager totally agrees.
They're allowed to live in a beautiful $900 apartment, and some of them may only pay $30 a month. But there are seniors, and they deserve that. You know, it's our responsibility to give that to them.
The median annual income for residents at Westerly Creek is about $9,000, and they pay about 30% of their income towards rent. The complex is located at East Kentucky Avenue and South Jamaica Street. It's the first of 2 buildings to replace Buckingham Gardens.
Several other seniors in Aurora had reason to celebrate this year as well. Residents in the Heather Gardens community recently welcomed their newly renovated clubhouse.
The new $9.8 million clubhouse at Heather Gardens is approximately 20,000 square feet larger than the old one, featuring a new indoor pool, a new golf pro shop, new tennis courts, an updated restaurant, and a state-of-the-art fitness facility. The center also provides a larger auditorium, more class and activity spaces, and a lounge terrace with outdoor seating. The president of Heather Gardens Metropolitan District Board says the Heather Gardens community serves more than 3,500 residents.
We have probably about 2,000 people out of our community using it, of the fitness facilities and all of the activities. You come over here any time of day and there's people everywhere. People are happy, they're proud. It keeps everybody very active and happy, and that's what's important for the older communities.
Residents here voted in favor of the community center in 2010 on the promise that the new center would reshape the image of Heather Gardens and restore its position as one of the premier adult communities in the metro area.
Those seniors at Heather Gardens weren't the only ones who had a reason to celebrate in 2012. After a major renovation that lasted several months, Aurora's Beck Recreation Center had a very grand reopening in March.
3. Yay!
The Beck Recreation Center has officially reopened.
After about 14 months of being closed, we have some really excited customers on our hands. They've been here all week getting used to brand new equipment, a brand new facility that's wide open and airy. It's that new fitness concept that all the private gyms have.
Construction crews have been busy the past few months, gutting out 16,000 square feet of the facility to make way for an updated and more spacious fitness area. In all, the project added approximately 4,200 square feet of additional room.
So when you walk into our new entrance, you'll have your option. We have a ton of fitness equipment, which you see all around. We have an indoor pool with lap lanes and open swim. We have racquetball courts, a full-size gymnasium, a beautiful aerobics studio. Something for everybody.
In all, the project cost approximately $7 million to complete and was largely funded with lottery proceeds, park development fees, and grants from the Arapahoe County Open Space Program. And while you may still recognize parts of the old building on the outside, the inside is a completely different story.
As you drive down Telluride from 6th Street, you may see what looks like the old Beck Center. Just give it a chance and come inside our brand new entrance and you will see a huge difference.
Well, we reported earlier this month that council voted to approve a plan to purchase the blighted Fanfare property. The debate over what to do with the dilapidated building has been a topic for many years, as areas around the 10-acre site on Havana Street have seen major improvement with the help of renovations and new development.
Now the investment by the Aurora Urban Renewal Authority could pave the way for even more economic development for the city.
And 10D as amended is approved on a vote of 8-2 with Council Members Peterson and Markert voting no.
The vote allows the Aurora Urban Renewal Authority to enter into a contract with Fanfare's current owner, Capital Financial Ventures. The city is still deciding whether to buy the property, which has asbestos as is, for about $2 million, or to buy it cleaned up and already demolished for around $4 million. The Fanfare is literally falling apart. It was built in the early 60s as a giant discount shopping center, but it wasn't open for very long. Western Electric used it as a training center for a while, but moved out in the mid-80s, and Fanfare has been empty ever since, for almost 20 years. Mayor Steve Hogan said last month it was time for the city to step in. This building is an eyesore, it's a problem for our community, and it inhibits future development. Mayor Hogan told our partners at the Aurora Sentinel he hopes the site will eventually include retail, residential, and office space, but he says we'll have to wait and see what future developers think. The money to buy Fanfare is coming from a loan from the Water Department.
A few weeks ago, I spoke with the manager of the Aurora Urban Renewal Authority, Andrea Amanek, about what this purchase means in terms of benefits to the community in the short and long term.
What's the purpose of purchasing this site?
The authority is purchasing this site to stimulate redevelopment of it and to create the kind of excitement that occurs lower on Havana at the Gardens on Havana. This site could be redeveloped in ways that would benefit the community, both from a physical benefit as well as jobs and or tax revenue.
And when the AURA makes its decision on how to purchase the site, it will make an informed decision based on what is most cost-effective, what is best for the community, and what will allow the area to achieve the same type of resurgence that has occurred in other parts of Aurora. A decision is expected sometime before the end of the month.
While many areas in Aurora received a facelift this year, there was a significant amount of new development as well. One company coming to town will be using Aurora's award-winning water.
Niagara Bottling produces private label bottled water for Costco, Albertsons, and many Vegas casinos. They held a hiring fair in November that caused quite a stir.
There's a quiet sense of anticipation and excitement here at the Aurora Municipal Center. Hundreds of folks are lining up and patiently waiting their turn. At first glance, you might think it's some sort of giveaway or a concert, but they're all here to find a job.
Do you have any bottling experience?
This is a job fair for Niagara Bottling. The company is building a new plant right here in Aurora.
This is a really exciting day for us. We are opening our 10th, 11th, and 12th plants this year. And one of those plants is here in Aurora, Colorado. It's really exciting. We've got a great partnership with the city and the town here in Aurora.
Even though there are only 45 openings, more than 500 people stop by just within the first couple of hours. It's a long wait for some of them, but they don't seem to mind.
I mean, I've heard about Niagara before, but I think it'd be it's a good thing coming into Aurora, giving people jobs and good water.
Niagara Bottling started as a small family-owned business in California back in 1963. Now it has plants in several states and is adding new ones here in Aurora, Colorado, as well as in Ohio and another one in Texas. The company is still owned and operated by the same family that started it. The Aurora location for Niagara Bottling is going up at 1933 North Glen Club Road. They expect to start production in March.
In addition to Niagara Bottling, 2 more major companies decided to build facilities in Aurora in 2012.
Aurora is going to be a hub for United Natural Foods, the country's leading distributor of natural, organic, and specialty foods like Annie's Cheddar Bunnies and Kashi cereal.
Go.
It's an exciting day for the city of Aurora. Mayor Hogan joins other community leaders and representatives of United Natural Foods, also known as UNFI, for an official groundbreaking.
United Natural Foods is a business that fits well into this community. Smart, diverse, efficient, sustainable, community-oriented. This is a solid company that we see with a bright future, and we're happy and we thank you that you have chosen to consolidate your operations in Aurora, Colorado.
United Natural Foods recently announced it's combining its 4 existing distribution centers in Denver into one giant facility here in Aurora. The state-of-the-art 535,000 square foot building is going up at Gateway Park near Denver International Airport. The new distribution facility will open with about 475 employees, and UNFI plans to add another 75 over the next 3 years.
We want to be a place where people can work hard, grow, and have fun, and stay true to that triple bottom line which we've talked about.
UNFI's triple bottom line strategy focuses on 3 things: doing what's right, treating employees, customers, suppliers, and others well, taking care of shareholders, and staying true to the company's roots. That last one means focusing on sustainability and philanthropy. United Natural Foods already has 5 LEED certified green buildings, and the new building here in Aurora will also meet LEED standards, focusing on energy conservation, recycling, and exceptional indoor air quality. United Natural Foods' new distribution center is expected to open next March. Also next year, Wynn Wholesale, one of the country's largest distributors of construction and industrial supplies, will open their new regional hub here in Aurora.
Well, moving on to health care. The Anschutz Medical Campus in Aurora is ever-changing and growing, and this year was no different.
In addition to expanding several existing buildings, the campus also welcomed a new state-of-the-art health and wellness center. Welcome to the brand new state-of-the-art Health and Wellness Center at Aurora's Anschutz Medical Campus.
This is a very unique facility and is a tremendous resource for the community.
We've been telling you about this place for months, and now you can experience it yourself.
The goal and the mission of the new Wellness Center is to make the entire community, starting in Aurora and spreading out to the Denver metro area, healthier by supplying them with resources, state-of-the-art resources that exist within the center.
The Colorado Center for Health and Wellness opened April 16th, and again, it is open to the public.
The Anschutz Medical Campus is also home to a cutting-edge cancer center. The Cancer Pavilion opened a 5-story addition in 2012 and will now be able to treat more than 10,000 patients a year. It's the only comprehensive cancer center in the state and one of the largest in the region.
Children's Hospital Colorado also experienced a major expansion in 2012. The hospital opened its new East Tower in the fall.
1, 2, 3.
Children's Hospital Colorado officially opened its new 355,000 square foot East Tower in October.
This new East Tower is good news for kids in need of world-class care, but it's also good news for the city of Aurora as a whole.
The new 10-story patient tower will house the hospital's branch of the Colorado Institute for Maternal and Fetal Health, which is poised to be one of the top maternal-fetal programs in the U.S. The East Tower will allow the hospital to expand a number of its other specialty care services, including the Neurosciences Institute, Digestive Health Institute, Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders, the Breathing Institute, and several more.
And when we finish and we build out the whole thing, because we're starting actually with some capacity. We built into this some capacity for the future, and we'll have 5 floors that are what we call shelled that will be used in the future. When we do that and we actually build out, we will have over 500 licensed beds, which I will tell you makes us absolutely the premier children's hospital in the country, and we already are.
The University of Colorado Hospital at Anschutz is also growing. Like Children's Colorado, University is adding another tower.
Work on the new tower is ahead of schedule. The $393 million project broke ground early in 2011 and is now expected to be finished in May 2013. The new 12-story tower will include an additional 144 beds, with room for 132 more in the future. It will also include a helipad, a new ER department, and an 8-floor garage with more parking for doctors and other staff. Spokespeople at the hospital say the additional 734,000 square feet of space is desperately needed. They've had to divert ambulances to other hospitals in recent weeks because they simply don't have enough room for more patients. Not only has the expansion created hundreds of construction jobs, but the hospital also plans to hire 1,400 new employees, including nurses and doctors, as well as housekeepers.
Aurora's Veterans Affairs Hospital is the newest construction project on the campus and is scheduled to open in less than 3 years.
It's a very special way to say thank you to our veterans here in Aurora, as well as all across the state and the entire Rocky Mountain region. The long-awaited new VA Medical Center at Aurora's Anschutz Medical Campus is starting to take shape.
The structural steel framework for the new hospital is beginning to go up, starting with one of the inpatient buildings, known as Inpatient Building South. The more than 1 million square foot complex will feature 2 inpatient buildings, a diagnostic and treatment facility, 3 clinic buildings, a research facility, a community living center, and 3 parking structures. Even though the VA Medical Center will be made up of several separate buildings, most of them will be connected with enclosed bridges, as well as an interior hallway. So far, workers have moved more than 320,000 cubic yards of dirt. That's enough to fill the Pepsi Center 8 times.
The $800 million project is expected to treat more than 80,000 vets a year. It's scheduled to open in 2015.
The military, of course, has played a major role throughout Aurora's history.
And 2012 brought word that it will continue to be a big part of our community for many years to come. Despite major cuts by the Pentagon following the end of the Iraq War, we learned Buckley Air Force Base would be spared. None of nearly 24 F-16s stationed at Buckley appear to be on the list of defense cuts. The planes are flown by Colorado Air National Guard pilots and are often called on by NORAD to track down and escort planes that violate restricted airspace or otherwise raise suspicion. NORAD, which stands for North America Aerospace Defense Command, is based in Colorado Springs and works closely with Buckley. Buckley is also home to the 460th Space Wing and the National Reconnaissance Office, which is a key military player in satellite surveillance. We also learned in 2012 the Colorado Freedom Memorial has reached its funding goal and should be done in time for Memorial Day 2013.
It will honor the more than 6,000 Coloradans killed or missing in action while fighting for our freedom. The memorial has been 10 years in the making. The Colorado Freedom Memorial will be built north of Buckley Air Force Base at the new Spring Hill Park. That's over by the Beck Recreation Center. It will be 14,000 feet tall and 100 feet wide, and it will be made almost entirely of glass that will reflect Colorado's mountains and blue skies. The 6,000 names etched into the glass date back to the first war Coloradans fought in after Colorado became a state.
Our community was hit hard this year by the loss of 2 prominent public servants. Aurora firefighter Jason Murphy passed away in March. He was struck by a pickup truck while riding his bike to work. Murphy had been with Aurora Fire since February 2003. He survived by a wife and 2 young daughters.
Aurora lost another well-respected public servant in 2012, one who spent more than 3 decades in city, county, and state leadership roles, including 13 years on Aurora City Council. Frank Wettig had served as Arapahoe County Commissioner since January 2005 and retired just this past January. Prior to his Arapahoe County post, he was an Aurora City Council member and served in both the State House and the State Senate.
Our set for these year-end shows have been graced with beautiful poinsettias, courtesy of Nick's Garden Center here in Aurora. Sadly, we've learned the founder of Nick's, Nicholas Ortega Jr., passed away on December 15th. He died peacefully at the age of 77. Nick's has been a part of our community for 25 years. Our condolences to the Ortega family.
Aurora suffered a tremendous loss on July 20th. The theater tragedy took the lives of 12 people. Dozens of others were hurt. Our community is still trying to heal more than 5 months later. We wanted to pay a special tribute to the victims, their families, as well as our entire community. So please join us the week of January 2nd for our half-hour special, We Are Aurora.
We hope you've enjoyed this special look back at 2012. Thanks again for joining us. We'll be back with our regular edition of Aurora News Weekly beginning January 8th at 6:30 p.m. And remember, you can watch this show, our first year in review show, our upcoming theater special, We Are Aurora, at youtube.com/The Aurora Channel.
Finally, before we close the show, we want to take a moment to remember the victims, families, and the community in Newtown, Connecticut. Just as the nation and the world has reached out to us here in Aurora following a horrific tragedy, our thoughts, prayers, and sincerest condolences are with those in Connecticut. On behalf of all of us here at Aurora 8, thank you for watching.
You're watching Aurora 8, proud to be serving Aurora, Colorado, and all America City.